Welcome back, everybody. Surprise, surprise, we are back. We haven't permanently left. Episode 152. We're going to touch on some retirement and TSP stuff. Again, we're not financial advisors, so please, no. Don't listen to us about that. Again, this is just kind of get you familiar with how the system works, I do believe. They're going to run with the show with that. But I know I've had a couple people reach out to me in the very recent asking if we were done or, if we were going to put out any more episodes. And, as I said in the past, I know it's probably been, what, about 6 weeks, guys? But,
It's been
yeah, I am
It doesn't
still,
seem like it's been that long, but yeah,
yeah, beginning of
it's been a
April.
while.
Yeah. I am still very much working and concentrating on mom. It's at the point now that our dear Ruby and little man are now taking care of my mother 24/7. So I have been going down on the weekends to give Ruby a break, and I not all very rarely do I get home before the time that we would normally record. I actually this was my first break outside of my spring booster, and yes, I did make it to mid states. Um, that I haven't been down at my mom's, but I'm going down tomorrow after work. So I told Ruby, I said, there's no point in me coming down Friday to turn around and drive home Sunday, only to turn around and drive back down Monday night. So which is fine. I had some other things going on this weekend that I had to do, so that kind of worked out. Plus, trying to get some rest. It's been a crazy several months, and it's just going to be crazy. So, if we don't get an episode out for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks, it's kind of hard to do when schedules are conflicting. So, I mean, because we've had a lot. We've had annual meetings, we've had area conferences. There's been a lot going on just in the last 6 weeks anyway. So, scheduling can kind of be a little crazy when we're all this direction, that direction, and out and about. So, how has your last month and a half been, Josh?
Uh, Quite ducky. Um, our vehicles are dropping like flies, so we have people sitting waiting hours. Luckily, mine's still running, but I had to write it up Saturday because it stalled out on me 4 times. So, come Monday morning, I might not be with the vehicle and have to be one of the ones sitting there waiting. We'll see. Then I put in a 120 letter a couple weeks ago, week or two ago. And yesterday, when they finally gave us our 4240s for the week for this pay period, I noticed there's a new name on there because there was a name that nobody knew anything about who they were, where they're from, if they were even actually employed or showed up for anything. So fingers crossed that that'll work out. Meow, how has your life been?
That's a good way to, I guess, summarize it up, huh? My last 6 weeks have been very, very busy. I feel like it's kind of been an eternity since I've talked to Kristen. I've talked to Josh more recently, but just been really busy. My mattress is also broken. My air conditioning slash heater will not work, and I'll say this: I know people that are our air conditionings are a luxury item, but LOV at least has a fan, and you have a little bit more of the air flowing around your legs, so that you can at least feel some of that. So it's been kind of also having my almost 6-year-old chaotic running around and the school year stuff going on. And then to top it off, my managers in my office have been uh, uh, not great. And so there's been a lot of little issues that have now like added up. Yeah, that's the word. They I think that all of us kind of have that going on, but they just their mood is just so much. They don't care. They you give them you have a problem that's going on. Hold on one second, guys. I'm so sorry.
Kristen, how was your I know you pretty much just told us, but
Well, it's
any work
been.
related things?
I have a new sub for my route, got him trained.
Yay!
He's doing okay from what it seems like now. I've been fairly pleased. Now it's just, fine tuning, tweaking a little bit here and there when you catch something that needs attention. But other than that, he's really good about that when you tell him, okay, double check this, make sure that CBU's closed properly, stuff like that. Um, yeah, don't forget to pull that hardship card because she hasn't gotten her mail and it got sent back no mail receptacle. Yeah, little things like that. Um, but we fix those. Those are fixable. So that's pretty much, been, like I said, work and going down to my mom's. And I did make it to Mid States. Mid States went pretty good. Pretty good, had a good time. I was able to find somebody to come stay with my mom for that weekend, so I did get Ruby and Little Man away for a few days. But and they joined me.
That's good.
Yeah, they joined me from Mid States and hung out, during the meet and greet, the banquet, and whatnot. But yeah, no, it's just been hectic. I've been tired. I'm about ready to buy a T-shirt that says "Being tired is just part of my personality now." Uh,
I
it's
I can vibe with that.
when you fall asleep on the couch sitting up.
Been
Yeah,
there.
I had like I can get. Oh my gosh, I'll be home. I can get this done. I can get this done. I can get this done. Yeah, no, I did sleep though, so I guess that's good. That's something I don't do as much anymore. But it's been working in between. I mean, that's literally work, go to mom's, work, come home, go to work, go to mom's. It's like I said pre-show. I mean, and I'm going to include mid states, but just with all the traveling I've done since mid January, I've put 14,000 miles on my car. So if that tells you anything,
I I agree with that 100%.
yeah.
The comments. Been there, done that. It was not fun.
Yeah, yeah. But other than that, it hasn't been too bad. I think we touched on mini mail survey back before. My route stayed the same. I stayed at 46K. I did go up a few minutes. I'm actually 30 standard minutes away from being a 47. So I'm back in that comfort zone where I like to be. But yeah, other than that, it's just been, I mean, Friday whipped me though. Friday was horrible for me. A lot of my hotels, I have a lot of the mom and pop resorts and hotels and stuff along my route, and they're starting to stock up for
Right.
summer season. That's just, literally a week, 2 weeks away. And, where do they get their supplies from? Amazon.
Of
So
course,
when
right?
I had 14 trips to Dover on Friday.
Yeah,
It
I
was,
had.
and it's funny is because out of I had 15 packages in my truck for the north end of my route, which is usually the first hour, and I could only fit 15 packages in there. So some people, oh, you could have done this, that. Yeah, yeah, I get it, but the way my route split up, it was just easier to put those 15 in there. And even with the out of the two stops, it was four stops. Between two stops, even with the hand cart, I had 7 trips to the door.
Yeah, I had Saturday. I had the clerks kept bringing around the large packages, and I had like 7 or 8 for my apartment complex. 5 of
Hmm.
which were for the same apartment.
Yep.
Luckily, it was on the first floor.
Yeah. So Friday whipped me, and so I was. Because then after I come back from my north end, I literally drive right through town past the post office. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna stop after I do the north end and reload for the rest of the route. And yeah, so I was already whipped from the morning just loading up the first stuff. But Friday was a long day for me. But I got through it. And tomorrow's Monday, and that'll be even more fun. Yeah.
Like, how exciting. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to working tomorrow.
Yeah, me either.
I just don't wanna
And
I just don't wanna be with my managers. Like, I just want to like, if they were like, they just bring the mood down, you know? Like, once I get out on the
yes.
street, it's okay, but, like, it's just I don't know, it goes I guess every year or every few months, it's like the ebb and flow of how they react and the frustration of just how much they don't give a shit. And it's like, we should all give a shit. Like, pardon
Yeah,
me saying that, but, like,
Yeah.
it's ridiculous, but So tonight, I know who was it? Somebody had asked about TSP specifically, and we all kind of discussed and thought maybe we could do an episode in regards to retirement and TSP. But like
Yeah,
Kristen said
just a
earlier, we're not financial advisors. We're not. We're just some rural carriers trying to give you, some basic knowledge behind it.
And point you
And
in the right direction to get the proper
yeah,
information.
yes,
and
because there's a lot of resources.
we would always recommend talking to a financial advisor. Um, with if you with any especially for your retirement, because that's when you're going to need the money that you
Yes.
have.
So, as just like a basic overview of all of it right now, there's people who get confused, especially with what just happened with the Postal Service not paying their portion of the retirement. There's a lot of discussion regarding that. Our retirement, you got to think about it as like three different pots. One of the pots is Social Security through the government. The second pot is your pension retirement through the Postal Service directly. And then the third pot is your thrift savings plan or TSP. So that there's each one there. The one that's affected right now is the retirement ones with the Postal Service not paying their contribution. And that's a whole nother story that we can get into in another time. But the two that we're going to kind of talk about tonight are the pension/retirement and TSP. Now, your pension retirement fund is automatically taken out of your check when you become regular, or if you become a PTF, and the Postal Service matches, what is it, 3%? And it goes into its own fund on your pay stub, on your paper pay stub, and then on your online light blue one. You'll have like a set amount that's on there, and it'll show you an amount, but that amount on there won't change until the end of the year when it contributes all of it there. Does that make sense? So the number that you'll
Yep.
see on the bottom of the check, it's what you have already from the years prior, but you're still contributing to it, but it won't be reflected until the end of the year. Like the first paycheck come January or second pay period in January. So I always recommend, keeping copies of your pay stubs, especially the ones at the beginning and the end of the year. Or if like it's like you should be keeping them with your Form 50 if you're somebody who gets the paper copies, just so that you know how much that you've contributed to that retirement. Um, and it's kind of, it just is a living thing that sits there by itself. So, it's just know that it's there and it is a different entity than your TSP. And then I'm going to pass it to you, Josh, so you can talk about TSP.
Okay, I was going to say before I get into TSP, real quick, with Social Security, every year, I believe they send a statement to you, or you can go to ssa.gov. As in Social Security Administration, ssa.gov, and if you don't already have an account, register it yourself, and it will give you that. You can look at any time at that, and it'll tell you at age 62, 65, and 70, I believe. It breaks down if you work at your current trajectory of earnings. This is about what you'll make. So that's something to keep in mind and in consideration for with your Social Security and when you decide you want to start withdrawing it, and about how much you'll make.
They don't send,
Um,
so you have to opt in for them to send you that stuff, because I've actually never even logged into there. I've never even
okay,
received that email. So
okay, all right. I apologize. I must have years ago then. But yeah, if you go to ssa.gov, you can, and that'll tell you about what you will make each month, depending on when you start drawing off of it. All right,
Maybe they don't send it to
TSP.
you because it's probably going to be gone by the time you're done.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. I just
Um,
know, on occasion I do get that statement.
the Social Security website also, it has a .gov login, so
Yes.
make sure that you have all of that up to date, which you have to use the .gov, or was it the .gov for your postal health insurance stuff too. So hopefully you've saved your password, so just be ready to enter your credentials and stuff into there for if you're trying to log into there.
Okay. TSP, the thrift savings. The way that's set up is the Postal Service will match 5% for 5%. They will match they automatically, whether you contribute or not. Even if you say, I don't want it, I don't need it, I'm going to put in 0, they give you 1%.
So what is TSP?
The TSP is Thrift Savings Plan, which is the federal employees version of a 401k. It is in investing your money into a retirement plan. You can opt to do traditional or Roth. The really absolute most basic difference between traditional and Roth is when you pay the taxes. Traditional, it is tax free out of your paycheck, but you have to pay the taxes when you withdraw it. Roth, you pay the taxes now up front out of your paycheck, and anything you withdraw is tax exempt because you already paid the taxes. So you have to just, again, that's where talking with a financial advisor would come into play. You have to decide, is it going to be in your best interest to go Roth or traditional? Do you feel that you're going to pay a higher percentage of taxes in retirement than now? Um, there are through postal ease, through light blue, going to my HR and then postal ease, you can set either a dollar amount or a percentage of your check and how much you want. Because, as I mentioned, the post office automatically gives you 1%. The first 3% that you contribute, they will contribute a dollar for dollar. The fourth and 5th% that you contribute is 50 cents to the dollar. So that's 4% plus the one free one is 5% for 5%. So right off the bat, if you put in 5%, you're getting 10% of your annual salary going into the TSP. The more you can afford to put into it, the better off you'll be in the long run, which means you'll have more money to last longer.
I do know,
If
Josh,
you
as a
Yes,
newer career employee, that it is
yes,
automatically 5% across the board.
okay. When I started, I believe it was 3% is where they started you,
Yep, it
and
is
then you had to
now.
change it from there.
Yep, it is now
It is
5%.
5%.
Yep.
Okay.
And that's a good
If you
thing for you
go,
to log into your light blue and log it or look at your pay stub, and it'll tell you the percentage next to it, and it'll say TSP. It'll be under the deductions line, especially on light blue, and it'll show you the amount and the percentage that is being taken out.
okay. And then if you go to tsp.gov, that is where you can make any changes to where it gets, where your money goes.
Well,
And
so
I'm going
for
to,
the so the first thing I would do is anybody who's a career employee, I've been told and it's been recommended to me that you make sure that you set up your TSP .gov login information so that you have it for the future just in case anything happens. Even if you don't work for the postal service anymore, like that account's still going to exist there. TSP
yes.
also has their own advisors that you can speak with off of the TSP website, and they can recommend other different things. I know like at some of the union meetings at the area conferences and at national, they will have a TSP person come and they can talk to you a lot more about a lot of this. But the number one thing that I would say is make sure that you set up that login information, and then you can also link your bank account information in there, so that they have it just in case, like when especially if you're close to retiring, just make sure that it gets in there because it takes it some time, and you'll be like sitting there waiting for your money and not have that account linked. So,
Believe Yeah, I believe it has to be on file. Any changes or additions that you make have to be on file in their system for a minimum of 7 days for it to be effective.
and they also will mail you information about how much money that you have in the account. It's just a good, not another like thing for you to keep track with, I guess. I have a long ways away before I can retire, and so I this is actually one of the things that I am least versed um in regards to the postal service, but that is one of the things that I have personally done, was made sure my TSP account information was correct, and I would still go in there and view it and verify things in case things need to change, or if you're moving around your funds or anything along those lines too.
Okay. Um, I'm just going to give a quick overview of what the different funds are. Um, Again, not a financial advisor, not making any recommendations for, it's whatever you feel, and it's all what is your comfort level on how conservative or aggressive you want to be with your retirement money. The first is the G fund, which is Government Securities Investment Fund, which is invests in short-term U.S. Treasuries securities, is 100% principal pro protection with low risk, stable returns, which basically means you're not going to lose any money. But on the same note, you're not really gaining any money. The F fund is fixed income index investment fund. Invests in a broad index based portfolio of investment grade bonds. So again, it's bonds. There's not much chance of loss, but then again, there's not a lot of return on it. A little bit more return than the G fund, but the C fund is common stock index investment funds, which tracks the S&P 500 index, covering large and mid-sized U.S. companies. That's going to be one of your most aggressive and the most risk reward fund. You have the greatest chance of earning, but you also have the greatest chance of losing too. The S fund is small capitalization stock index investment fund. It tracks the Dow Jones. Sorry, I have to switch to the next slide. The Dow Jones U.S. Completion Total Stock Market Index, covering small to mid-sized U.S. companies, not in the C fund. So it's not as aggressive as the C fund, but it's still stock market. I fund is international stock index investments. It tracks the MSCI EAFE, which is the European and Australian and Far East Index of international stocks. And then you have the life cycle funds. Life cycle funds are target a retirement date within 5 years. So now you can go from 2030, 2035, 40, 45, 50, 55, I believe out to 2065 at this point. It will automatically adjust as you get closer to be a little more aggressive now, and then less aggressive and a lot conservative by the time you retire. Those are the different funds that you can get, that you can choose from, or you can mix and match it any way you want, as long as it's up to 100% when you go in there to change the funds. And then you can have it as if you wanted to change the percentages, you there's two options. There's the option of what's currently in your account and future payments. So as long as you're still working for the federal government and contributing to TSP, that's the future contributions. Once you retire, you will no longer have future contributions. You'll just have the current balance. As I mentioned, as we said before, you do want to talk to a financial advisor in some capacity just to say, this is my unique personal situation. What is going to be best for me? Or make your, or you have to make your own decisions on what you feel is going to be in your best interest.
Yeah, and it could be different for everybody too. You might have already had a career, you might have a 401k already, you might have already worked for the another federal entity and had already contributed to your TSP. So, or you might be closer to retirement than other people are. So, your financial makeup is going to be a little bit different. And then the biggest one that I know personally is if you're table one versus table two,
Yeah,
calling it
and
out.
we've talked about that. Like I have someone told me, and I suggested to people, if you can, every time you get a pay increase, raise your TSP by 1%. You're not going to miss it out of your check because you're already making the same money. So you're just going to lose on the additional wages. But as the two of you have mentioned in conversations we've had in the past, I can't afford what I'm getting right now. I need every cent I can get.
Yep.
So and I understand, I understand that. And actually, I'm at the point where I was debating whether or not to reduce because I'm right now I'm at 22%. I'm debating reducing that down just to give me a little bit more back in my paycheck.
Yeah, and there's some people who they might be closer to retirement and they're contributing a lot more. And I think there's a maximum that you can contribute. I can't remember what the percentage is. And
There is
I think there's a dollar
let me
cutoff
see if
amount too per year.
it is
yeah,
$1. Yeah. I want to say
Hold on, I've got
35,000, but I'm double checking that right now.
annual elective deferral limit is 24,500.
Okay. And then if you're over 50, there's the catch up, which allows you to um, put additional funds in.
Yes, age 50 and older. Let's see, 8,000 age 50 and older. 11,250 higher catch up limit for ages 60 to 60.
Okay. And you said, what was it, 24,000?
Yep, 24,500.
All right. 24,500. If you wanted to max out, would be $942.31 out of your paycheck,
Yeah, no, that don't work
each
for me.
paycheck.
That don't work
I
for
mean,
me.
that doesn't work for me either. I wish I could, but that doesn't work for me either. Um, but I'm just saying, if you can, if you're in a situation where you can afford that, that's going to be it's putting more in now, so you have it later.
Yeah,
One thing you do want to make sure, if you know you're gonna max out, you want to make sure that you do not max out before the last pay period ends, because let's say you max out and what I say that was 924.
yeah.
Let's say you decide you can afford 1,200 a check. God bless you if you can, but so you put 1,200 a check in. Well, that's going to give you, you're going to cap out, max out probably in September or October. Well, if you don't contribute anything, you're not going to get the agency match. So you're losing money that
You're
way.
just letting the post office leave money on the table.
Yep. You're losing money by doing it that way. So you want to make sure if you see you're getting close to that cap, reduce your thing so it'll extend through to the last paycheck of the year. All right. Is there anything else?
Yeah, I was just
Do you want to
flipping through
suggest
the printout that I had from Mid States with the retire from
for TSP?
Joni Montroy was one of our guest speakers, and honestly, if you're really looking for somebody for to help you from step through all the way through for your retirement paperwork and everything, Joni is definitely one to contact with key retirement solution. She knows her stuff, and she used to work for the post office, so she's familiar with everything, and she's good. I mean, honestly, if I was in a position to retire and I had all that stuff to look for, assets and all that stuff to go dig through, and I had the money to pay her, I'd probably be contacting her myself. But
I,
I've got a
me
long
too.
ways to go for that for me. So
Yeah, I know there are some organizations that'll do it that I've seen advertised, and they do seminars every now and then around the country
mhm.
that I don't believe they charge, but
Just be weary of them.
I yeah,
I mean, also retirement questions. You can contact our retirement specialist at national headquarters. John is his name, right? Great guy.
Yeah,
Used to
John
be,
Hamilton.
yeah, used to be a rural carrier. He's a really good guy. I mean, you can always contact him with questions as well. He'll definitely be able to assist you with what you
Yeah,
got to do.
his information is on the union website. If you go to nrlca.org and you go to the retirement tab, all of his contact information is on there.
And it's in the national magazines too. So,
Yep. He can't necessarily file your paperwork for you, but he can help you with a lot of the questions.
yeah. And, you have to be a member of the union to contact him. But if you're looking for somebody to help you with filing paperwork and stuff and you want to pay somebody that's going to do a great job, I definitely recommend Joni. And I pretty
no.
much she's endorsed by the national board for the most part too. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, I
I
think
have
she's come to
seen
our state convention a couple years ago.
I've seen her at state convention. I've seen her at national convention. I've seen her at mid state. So yeah, she knows her stuff.
Yes, she does. And I know people who have retired that used her and were like, thank you for giving me her contact information.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything
Trying to
else,
think.
guys?
Not
Oh, if you want more information regarding TSP, there's like a group on Facebook. What's it called, Josh?
uh give me one moment. It's thrift saving something.
There's
Thrift
even
savings plan.
uh-huh.
Thrift savings plan and secondary investments. Is this? Let me just make sure this is yeah. And the woman that runs that page, she will reassess what she thinks the markets are doing and adjust what her suggestion is for your contributions. Some people will tell you if you have, like, for example, the two of you have years to go, put it all in the C fund and let it ride. Because, yes, the C fund is the most risks for losing, but it also, time after time, has recovered tenfold. So long term, it's the highest reward, but sometimes short term, it's not so great.
Yeah, I haven't even gotten into my TSP at all. I should probably do that eventually.
Yes, you should.
Yes.
Yeah.
I did it like 2 years ago finally. And I was like, oh, I should have done this a long time ago.
Yeah, I had them. They sent me a pin, and then the pin disappeared before I got logged into it.
I think they do it differently now too.
Yeah, that was shortly after I went regular, so it's been a couple of years.
Because they have like, I don't know if they're a login.gov now too. I can't remember. I haven't logged. I need. I
It's
probably should.
either
Yeah.
login.gov or ID me, or
Yeah.
both. Yeah.
I mine set so with the secondary authentication, so they send me a text with a verification code,
Yeah.
and it just goes, for me, it just goes through. They also do have a app, Daily TSP, which is a free app, or there is the professional version, which is a one-time fee of, I think, $2.99 or $3.99, which gives you live market updates, and also will actually sync to your TSP account and track your balances for there. So even if you do the free one, it'll give you a balance, but it might be delayed. It might not be completely 100% accurate.
So also to add, I think we kind of said this too. RCAs and ARCs cannot contribute to either of these things, to the TSP or pension, the retirement pension, and that's why like we try and contact Congress to do that the federal employee buyback, the buyback bill, so that
The Retirement Fairness Act.
yeah, the Retirement Fairness Act. Excuse me. I'm choking on
Bless
my.
you.
So that's why we try and contact Congress to get them to do this, because the postal service isn't doing anything for them. Some of the subs are working 40 plus hours, working some of them are working more than regulars are, and they aren't contributing to any retirement plan. So,
Oh,
and there's still subs, there's still people out there who were RCAs for 10, 20, 25 years, and
yeah.
they recently went regular and now are finally contributing to these things. And so I would just encourage you to contact your congressperson to tell them to please sign on to those bills, because this is
Yeah.
a benefit that this is why, because they're not as lucky as some other people have been. What's good about some of the us having PTFs now is that the PTFs are actually contributing to their retirement and to their future. And one of the biggest reasons I ended up working at the post office was, and I almost didn't go take my test, but my dad looked at me and said, the bennies, you gotta get in there. And these are the benefits that we have, and that's why, like, when union stewards settle grievances for people, they end up putting the union asset management make the grievant whole for lost wages and benefits owed. And so that would include these benefits. And I hope that there's that question that's here in the chat. I don't know if you want to answer that, Josh.
Give me one moment.
I can read it to you.
All right. Yeah, please.
If the USPS poses a letter of demand or some restitution is required, they can take back their portion of the TSP. But if you do a dollar amount instead of a percentage, they can't.
That I don't know. That I don't know because it's, I would, and again, this is speculating. If you put a dollar amount, let's say your annual salary, just to make the math easy, is $60,000, and you put a dollar amount that equals $6,000 for the year. That's 10% of your salary. Does that make sense?
I think so.
So even if you put again, I'm not sure. But if you say I want to put this much money versus this percentage, it's on the back end. It's still going to convert it to a percentage.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because you may not know. You personally don't know. All right, I want to max out that $924 a paycheck.
Yeah.
So you want to go in there and say, I want to put $924 a paycheck in. I don't know what percentage $924 is of my check. Is it 10, 20, 30%? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that on the back end, it's going, it'll, so because they still are going to contribute 5% for 5%.
Yeah. But there's also, and this is kind of speculatory too on my part, there's the carriers that don't get paid for a paycheck, right?
Right.
And it just says zero.
Yep. So nothing got contributed then, but when they do the adjustment and you do get to pay one or, that missed pay, one or two checks from now, one of
Yeah.
the deductions is going to be the TSP. So you've lost
But it'll have the
potential
percentage. Well, because they
gains
take it
during
out
that.
of the adjustment. When you show the
Right.
adjustment, it'll show the percentage in the adjustment.
Right. And what the dollar amount is.
Yeah.
But I'm going to presume if you put a dollar amount, it's going to show that dollar amount and then what they contributed in addition. So, unfortunately, you missed the gains during that time. If there were gains, if you're lucky, it was when the market was going down. So you missed on the losses. But as a lot of people say, when it's down, you're just buying your shares at a discounted price. Oh, I wanted to get back over to I forgot with the retirement part, the
Uh-huh.
first part. You were saying, it shows you that dollar amount that you've contributed versus what they contribute. And someone had told me with what they contribute is actually for 10 years in the future. So what they're putting in now is for 2036 is what the post office is contributing. But the
Oh, it's
way
not the
that
amount that
works,
you would pull out right now.
right. the way that works is your high three, which is your high 3 years, which is a rolling 36 months. So the 36 months that you have the highest average salary during your whole career is what based off of your retirement, your pension. It is you vest in 1% per year of service. So again, to make the math easy, if you were if you make if your high three average is $60,000 and you have 25 years credible service, it will become that'll be $15,000 a year is your pension, which is roughly $1,250 a month. And I forget what the magic numbers are, but if you get with a get a full, and I'm using finger quotes here, full retirement, it'll act, and I believe it's after so many years of service and a certain age that 1% becomes 1 point or converts to 1.1%. So you're getting a 10% increase, bonus on that if you make it to full retirement.
Other thing to add to what you were saying, there is 2 different retirement systems that the Postal Service functions under. One is called the Civil Service Retirement System, and that's for people who started with the Postal Service in the 80s or before. There's only like 2% of the entire Postal Service still on that system. And then what most of us are under is called the Federal Employee FERS, Federal Employee Retirement System. And that's what most of us are under. Now, the other thing that we've been trying to also get Congress to sign on to is that money that we are contributing to FERS and the civil service is just sitting there in low yielding bonds. Like the Postal Service just has it just chilling. And we're trying to get Congress to sign on and let them invest them into more things so that they're able to earn some money on money that's just sitting. So I know the union put something out on that too, but I just wanted to kind of briefly touch on that because Postal Service is going broke. But
I know where they could cut some of the fat, but we're not going to go
I do
there.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, we're
We're we're
This is
we're we're not going to go there.
we're gonna keep this clean and pretty.
Absolutely.
yeah. The simple
We
solution.
yeah, the simple solution, and I think everybody that has their boots on the ground will agree what the simple solution is, but oh, but
But
we're gonna be nice. We're gonna play nice.
Well, that's
yeah.
well, I'll save that for after we're done.
Yeah. But yeah,
But yeah, I mean, I would recommend going to any of those retirement seminars if you can. Even if like you're somebody who just went regular, it does not hurt so that you are investing in making smart decisions so that when it comes to, you're a few years away from retirement and you're not screwed. You want to set yourself up so that you're successful into the future, even
yeah,
if you're on table
Yeah,
two like myself.
yeah. I mean, I can't
yeah.
count how many I sat through as an RCA going, okay. It's at that point it's like, okay. But yeah,
None of it
now
hurts.
it's you pay attention a little bit more when your career.
Yeah, I would say it doesn't hurt because it also helps you to start planning and figuring out what you want your life to look like after the post office.
Exactly.
Ideally, you want to be out of debt. You want to have the house and cars paid off. You want to be able to live at the same comfort level you're living now, or better if you can.
I would prefer better.
Like I said, well,
You could be a snowbird
hence
and live in Arizona in the winter or Florida in the winter. Yeah, I
hence
want to say that too. My house, what house? Yeah, what house?
Just give
I'm
me an
table two.
RV. Just give me an. I'll just get a used Class A motorhome, and there we go. That'll be my
Mhm.
retirement home.
Hey, I'm just saying you want to get all your debt taken care of before you go,
Oh, I know.
if possible.
And maybe own a house by then.
Maybe. I have faith in that.
The only way I'm gonna end up owning a house is when I inherit one. So yeah, see how that goes.
Mm-hmm.
Which is still
Like,
paperwork I gotta
man,
fill
we
out.
went dark. We got dark.
Yeah, well, my life is not the brightest right now. Sorry, guys, to go take it dark
No.
there, but
Hey,
it's
Kristen, to quote an old supervisor of mine years ago, he says, I see the light at the end of the tunnel. I'm just praying it's not a locomotive.
right. Yeah, it's been a crazy time here. You guys got
All right.
anything else to add on tonight, or are we
I would,
all?
nope, I was just going to ask.
Alrighty, Josh. Closing remarks for this evening.
Ooh, wait, I wanted to add one more thing.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes.
The union filed a step 4 regarding coverage factor, and it's amazing. I know there's been a lot of people talk like, what does that mean? That the union has filed a step 4 grievance because they think that there is something wrong with the coverage factor, and that's based off of all kinds of information regarding disputes that have made it on all the way up, and there's just been countless people across the whole country saying, "Hey, look, something's wrong with the coverage percentage." But I just I like got like emotional when I saw the push notification come through, and because I knew I've been saying it for a long time too. I've had countless people tell me that, and so it was just like the highlight, I
Yeah.
guess, of my week, and it just
Yeah. You had
I
to pull over and read it twice.
because it's like a 6-page document on the union website. I know that there's some people who are still like think that step 4 grievances are worth where issues go to die. I do not personally think that this one is going to sit as long as the others have, because the union has so much documentation based off of that grievance filing letter.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that we get a resolution on it pretty soon. But John Adams is a gem, and we're really lucky that he's our director of labor operations right now. Um, I mean, that's all I can really say on that. Like, it's amazing. So I'm very happy to see an RX. I'm happy right now to see RX step 4 grievances being filed. So we'll end it on a high note, but other than
Yeah.
that,
All right,
Your outro while
Josh.
you're there. All right. Well, it's starting to get warm out there. So hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. Hopefully you at least have that fan in your vehicle, and hopefully yours gets fixed sooner than later, ma'am.
Mhm.
Um, but stay cool. Get yourself like I know they have like the cooling shirts, the cooling hats. Invest in them. Get yourself a small cooler bag to bring your waters in. Um, I know what I do. A trick I do is I put one in the freezer, and one it acts as a ice pack for the first part of the route. And if I take it out and leave it on the mail tray through the route, by the end of the route, it's not cold. It's not hot. It might be slightly warm, but it's still drinkable. Yep, like someone just said, sweating. If you stop sweating, call 911. Um, don't get overwhelmed. If you do, take a step back, take a deep breath, and step back in. And if that doesn't work, meow.
And if that doesn't work, I actually wasn't going to say call EAP, but
Well,
I was
I
going to
thought you were going to do that every
I
week.
wasn't. I was gonna say call Congress.
Sorry,
I kind of like that idea.
Right? Congress, tell them, hey, you
we
can
need
call
new
you.
trucks.
Yeah, we need. Yeah, yeah. Seriously, no. There's a lot of postal issues and a lot of things going on right now, and we honestly don't need any more on our plate. But we're here. We're a quasi government entity, and we really honestly need Congress's help for a lot of things that are going on, including the RCA buyback one. Just call Congress and urge them, please, to co-sponsor the buyback one, the Protect Our Letter Carriers Act, and what it was the buyback one's Federal Employee Retirement Fairness Act, and the anti-privatization one. And they're just simple solutions. They're just, I'm not saying it's the end of the world or anything. It's just we're trying to build up shields for ourselves and make sure that we, are protected, and everything that like millions of people have come before us have done to protect the postal service, to protect the union, to protect rural carriers, to protect our customers and who we are delivering to. Just please call on them. Uh, they don't want to hear from like one person higher up. They want to hear from their constituents in their area. They don't want to just hear, yada 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 going on from Joe Blow over here. But and also, it seriously do, if you get overwhelmed and you can't figure it out, please call the AP. They're there for you. They can help you, and uh, sometimes it's nice just to talk to somebody who's outside of the realm of all of the BS that's going on, like your manager's being stupid, something along those lines. But on that note, I will pass it over to you, Kristen, and have a good week, guys.
Thank you guys. It was great to get back on here. When we're able to again, we will. I mean, it's right now, schedules are crazy. My travel schedule is going to be crazy for quite a while. So, if we get a moment, we will. We'll hop on. If we can get on the live stage, we will, like we did tonight. Otherwise, it's just going to be here or there. And, we should take this downtime, Meow, and really start putting together that history of that we've been wanting to do forever. So maybe we'll eventually get our history one done. So, but on that note, guys, yes, weather is changing all around and getting warmer out there. And those of us that are still in those easy bake oven on wheels, we all know how that's going to be. So make sure you keep yourself hydrated and vigilant and all that good stuff. And we'll be back when we're back.